for.
What?
The truth. I know where you can find it.
Where is it? Tell me! Hello? Oh, dude. That mask is awful.
No, it's not. It's scary.
I'm sorry, but there's really no point to this scare. Besides, the thing looks like you got it at a Halloween novelty store.
Oh, come on. This thing cost me like $15.
You should get a refund.
Dude, this was supposed to be scary.
Well, it's not. You implied that you could help me, then you led me down this pointless path just so you can confront me with that pointless scare. Also, why the hell would you lead me down this path in the first place if all you're gonna do is stare at me with that incredibly unscary mask? It's almost as lazy as the number of jump scares seen in most underwhelming horror movies these days. Ah! Stop that!
What? It's scary.
Says who?
Says the forest.
Oh, right. You know, I just remembered something. Gotta go.
Well, what was the point of all that?
Beats me. Pizza?
Yeah, pizza.
I know, a horror film released in the first weekend of January, I shouldn't be surprised at how bad it is, and I'm not. But what I am surprised at is how much better it actually is than most horror films released in the opening weekend of January. Not by much, but still better nonetheless. In case you're not familiar with most movie release schedules, January and most of February tends to be the worst time of year to go see movies. Mainly because those 2 months out of the year are considered the dumping ground for movies. That's when a studio releases movies that they have absolutely no faith in whatsoever. They're usually crappy, naked cash grabs that only a very niche market is going to go see, and most of the time they tend to be cheesy horror films. Truly abysmal horror films like The Rite, The Devil Inside, The Woman in Black 2 have been released in early January. And make no mistake, this film is no exception to the crappy movie in January rule, but it does get a few points for at least trying to have some ambition, and then immediately loses points for being incredibly, unforgivably exploitative. The story follows a young woman named Sarah Price, played by Natalie Dormer, who's looking for her identical twin sister in Japan. Apparently, a few days ago, her sister Jess ventured into the Aokigahara forest close to Mount Fuji, where people who enter have a tendency to die, mostly of their own accord. But as Sarah will soon discover, there is much more to this forest than she thinks. Now, let's get the good things out of the way, because there are actually a few good things about this movie. The cinematography is actually quite good. It does a good job at being dark without being too difficult to see dark. The sound design, for the most part, is pretty decent. And the writers and director all get points for at least trying to be more ambitious than you would otherwise expect. The movie feels like it has something deeper that it wants to explore, that it wants to tell a story about. That it wants to be less of a ghost movie and more of a psychological thriller. There is the seed of a very interesting movie within here, but unfortunately, it's heavily buried by all the bad stuff. And they are as follows. The acting is horrible. Everyone's performance in this movie feels like a over-the-top high school drama. No one feels believable, and no one feels like an actual character. They feel like walking archetypes of horror movie cliches. The film can't make up its mind what it wants to be about. Does it want to be about the ghosts? Does it want to be about the main character's troubled past? Or does it want to be about something deeper? It doesn't know. It never makes up its mind. But the biggest problem that I personally have with this film is its exploitative nature. As I said, this movie takes an actual place where people on a regular basis actually commit suicide and turns it into a scary ghost story. Now, it's one thing to take a location or an event in history and maybe change names around and make something different about it, make an interesting story, maybe have a commentary on a situation that you're presenting. But it's something else entirely when you take something that causes a lot of pain to a lot of people on a regular basis to this day and just turn it into a generic ghost story without having anything interesting to say about it at all. The movie has nothing interesting to say about this particular location other than, hey, people kill themselves here. Let's make it a ghost story, because ghost stories are cool. I just can't get past how blatantly, rudely exploitative that the movie really is. As it stands, like you would expect from any other horror film released in January, it's boring, generic, but has something within it that really wants to reach the surface. Now, I know that there really isn't anything all that interesting playing right now, other than Revenant, but please don't waste your time. Ladies and gentlemen, I am TheNorm. Thanks for watching.